Charlie, can I ask you to tell me a bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Charles Ramus. I'm a partner in CM Ramus and Sons. The partnership is made up of Edward, my cousin, and his father and my father, James and Nick. So there's the four of us.
And how long has the partnership been going?
Since after the Second World War, basically. It was set up by my grandfather, CM Ramus, and we've kept the name.
Tell me a bit about the farm.
It's
How many acres, and how is the land divided up, with yards and sites?
oh right. The original farm was about 350 acres, and then we've expanded it to 650 acres. It's basically split 50-50-ish between top fruit and arable, and compulsory pony paddocks for the rest of the extended family.
And on the arable side, what crops do you grow?
Wheat, barley and oilseed rape. This grain store allows us to be more flexible on the cropping. We can grow peas or beans if we want to, whereas with the old grain store we couldn't, because it was all elevators and augers that wouldn't handle them. They didn't even like handling rape, so you certainly couldn't put a big bean crop through them. It just wouldn't work.
Charlie, can you describe why you decided to put up the new store?
Because the main limitation factor on our harvest was our grain store. Running it absolutely flat out, you could only get 10 tonnes an hour in. And we'd put up with it. The older generation were like, oh, that'll be all right, that's a good grain store. We battled on, and it was getting harder and harder work to get it in, to get it out. The infrastructure within the grain store was not very reliable anymore. You'd come back and the grain would still be in the pit, and something had jammed up, a belt had snapped, an electric motor had gone. It just couldn't be relied on anymore. So we were offered a deal to vacate. You couldn't get lorries in even to collect the corn, and it was just the wrong site now for modern farming. We'd put a lot of money into this site with the concrete pad in front of the fruit stores, and it just made logical sense to bring it up here. And so we decided to do it.
Why did you choose Rob Kendall for the building work?
Because he'd done such a good job on other buildings, basically. And his price wasn't too outrageous. And we spoke to someone else who'd had a grain store built by Scorpion, and then had someone else to build another building. And they said, the thing that really swayed us was they said, oh, wish we'd had Scorpion back to do it. Might have been slightly more, but
it was a good job.
Exactly. So I think that comment always helps to sway you when someone else is saying what you're thinking. And yeah, we're very happy that we did have them to do the job.
And how do you dry the grain? How do you keep it dry?
We put in a drying floor. We were going to have just a plain concrete floor, and then we thought, we're spending all this money, it seems a lot at the time, but it wasn't that much more to put a proper drive-over drying floor, do the whole job right at the beginning, and I'm really glad we did.
So that's what's called a ventilated grain floor?
Yeah, drive-over drying floor. You get a big volume of air underneath it. We've got a tunnel in the middle, and you can have ducting ones set in the concrete and that, but on our research on the internet and speaking to other people, it seemed to be the most efficient way of drying in that sort of system. If you needed to dry the corn, you could do it, whereas like pedestals and these ducts, I think, can hold the corn and just blow air through it a bit to keep air circulating through it, whereas this can actually dry it.
Charlie, can you say something about the buildings that Scorpion put up before they did the grain store?
Yeah, we've had 3 fruit stores, well, buildings for fruit stores built by Scorpion, and we were impressed with the first one, very impressed with the second one, and exceedingly impressed by the last one. The last one really was good, but we sort of knew it would be, because they got great attention to detail when they put it up. They do everything properly, they don't cut corners, and they leave the job looking right. Even when we alter the job and put something on ourselves, they don't like it and come back and change it for nothing. So yeah, that's why it was a bit of a no-brainer on the grain store, because of the experience we've had with their buildings in the past. Yeah.